Hi, in this slide I've got a picture of a transformational strategy for discontinuous change. Earlier in clips, I talked about the drug in the hospital channels, morphine. And what happened was there was a life cycle to drug wholesalers, went back to, the 1870s with quinine bark and stuff like that. And modern day pharmaceuticals started to come along and they needed a way to get to independent mom and pop drugstores. And so the industry started growing. And right here at the inflection point where this curve starts to decelerate. So this shows the year-to-year growth rate of the industry and the number of players that get into it. So right here at the peak is where the inflection point is in the S-shaped curve, and then the growth starts to slow down as the market becomes saturated with a standard solution for doing something. So then it's get competitive and people start to consolidate and chains emerge and so forth. Now, we then get to a point where in the drug wholesale channel, it's a long story as to why they were the first channel to have barcodes gratis of the pharmaceutical manufacturers going back to 1974. But by 1980, they got traction. And for some big chain, drugstore chain said, we got our own distribution center, which is causing us problems. Let's outsource it to drug wholesalers, but on a different model. Let's 100% take care of our stores. We're using barcodes. All the orders will be entered directly into the distributor's computer. So there are no outside salespeople, inside salespeople, or the order sizes are 10 times bigger, whatever. So it took about 10 years. And what happened was, a couple hundred distributors got down to basically, 4 big guys that matter. There's still some little regional guys and so forth. So over here, there's a new model for how to get drugs to market. Even Walmart, buys from drug wholesalers. But they're very few, and they're, 70, 80, 90 billion dollar publicly traded kind of guys. Now, during this transition, it's not easy because what happens is they're accumulating problems or frustrations or inefficiencies people are starting to discover. And then what kind of technology is coming along that would allow these problems to be taken care of? At some point, the technology is ripe enough to solve these problems. But even then, we kind of have to have a new ecosystem and new standards and new practices and ways of doing things. And that's a struggle. So this is not, an easy, smooth kind of thing. But eventually, towards the end, a total new solution way of doing business emerges. It's economically very, compelling, and it's very reliable, and it gets traction and it starts to take off. The problem, though, is very few people see these things, can deal with these things, and basically they just go into the fetal position and kiss their business goodbye one way or the other. So right now, we've for 24 years in all distribution channels been seeing supply chain buying coming about, and wholesale distribution channels have switched from the old model of outside sales and inside sales and so forth, and sharing your business out to 2 or 3 distributors to let's get married on an integrated basis. So how on the margin can many of the distributors in lagging channels still nudge this along and start taking care of these problems? So that's the opportunity. Thank you.